The 5 lessons a millionaire taught me for women. Today I am sharing 5 lessons that I have learned as a woman and a millionaire with you so that hopefully you can learn from me and be able to become a millionaire or become financially free. I am Tiffany Thomas, your wealth mentor. I became financially free in my 30s and a millionaire at age 40. I'm here to help you do that even earlier and easier. So let's dive right in. Apparently there is a book called The 5 Lessons a Millionaire Taught Me for Women, but I wanted to share my own lessons that I have learned with you today. The first lesson that I have learned as I've become financially free and become a millionaire is to think in the long term. We get so focused on the short term that we forget about what our long-term goals are, what our end goal is. And it's really hard to achieve those long-term goals when we are so focused on the short term. So one thing that I've been able to do is really focus on that long term. What is it that I want to achieve in 5 years, in 10 years, not just in 6 months or even 1 year? By doing so, I'm able to prioritize what I spend my time on now and what I spend my money on now so that it aligns with those long-term goals. To give you an example, when I wanted to become financially free, when I figured out that people were actually doing this in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, way before regular retirement age, I thought, I want to do this. I set my goal to become financially free at age 40. That was my initial goal. So I looked at where I was currently and what it would take to get me to financial freedom by age 40. I looked at my current rental properties that I had, and I looked at the income I was receiving from those, and then the income that I was receiving from my own roommates, and then income that I had from my business, and then also my savings and what I had invested in the stock market. And I determined, okay, how much is it going to take in order for me to become financially free? And I realized that if I purchased just one more property, that was a 4-bedroom property, because I rent to singles and I can rent out the rooms for more by doing it separately. So I thought, okay, if I purchase one more property and it's a 4-bedroom, that is going to put me at financial freedom. I would be able to create enough cash flow in order for me to have all of my expenses paid for by the semi-passive income that I was receiving from my rentals and from my roommates. And once I figured that out, I was super excited because I didn't realize that I was that close to financial freedom. Once I figured that out, I was really focused on getting another property. That became my priority. And I knew it wasn't going to happen overnight or probably within a month or 2 months. But that is where I spent my efforts so that I could achieve my longer term goal of financial freedom. And I was able to achieve that goal. And things didn't go perfectly. I didn't instantly get a property and instantly get tenants in. It took a while. I had to put in multiple offers on different homes and look at a lot of different properties. And the property that I ended up getting, I actually was not the very first offer that they chose. I was their backup offer. And the first offer ended up falling through, so they contacted me and asked if I was still willing to purchase the place, and I said yes. And I moved forward. And going right along with this long-term mindset, I knew that I could do this through real estate and the stock market too. And the way I wanted to do it through real estate was just using buy and hold as my strategy. So just buying the rental property and holding it for the long term, because that's what I already knew. That's what I had been doing. And I wanted to continue to do what I already knew worked. And that way I could just get better at what I was already doing. And then same with my stock market investing strategy. I just have a buy and hold strategy pretty much in the stock market. And that works for me too. I did end up pulling out some of my stock market investments to purchase this 4th property, because I wanted to put some of that money toward my down payment. But I didn't switch strategies in the middle. I wasn't all over the place. I just focused on the simple stock market investing strategy I had and the buy and hold real estate investment strategy that I had. So I think that made a big difference in me being able to become financially free earlier than age 40. But if I never would have tried to focus on the longer term and really set my intention, set my goal for what I wanted to achieve, then I wouldn't have achieved it. I wouldn't have been looking for another property. So it's important to figure out, what is it that we really want in the longer term? Where do we see ourselves in 5 years, in 10 years? Where do we want to be? And what steps can we start taking right now in order to help us get there? And then the second lesson that I have learned is to spend money on what I truly value. This has been a learning process, but as I've gotten better at this, I am so much better and so much happier with what I'm spending my money on. I know that when I was younger, I would spend a lot of money on clothes. My friends and I would go to Ross all the time and just buy a few shirts or skirts, whatever it was. And I would buy lots of shoes, just different clothing items. And honestly, I didn't value spending that much money on clothing or on shoes. But I wasn't prioritizing what was truly important to me. What was it that is going to bring me true happiness or lasting joy? It was kind of just more of a fun trip to take to the store with my girlfriends and just spend some money. But honestly, I have donated a ton of clothes and shoes that I no longer wear, and they are still in great condition because I just wasn't prioritizing what I wanted to be spending my money on. So just take a few minutes and decide what it is you really want to be spending your money on. What is going to bring you that happiness? But I definitely did spend money on traveling because that is something that did bring me lasting happiness. I loved taking those trips, and I love looking at my pictures from those trips, and it just brings up the fun memories that I have from going on those vacations. And I also really like spending money on investing. I like seeing my money grow and taking advantage of that compound interest. I can put in a little bit of money and then that compounds over time because of compound interest. So I still invest some of my money. One thing that I don't really care to spend my money on is eating out. I know a lot of people enjoy that, and I will go out to eat sometimes. But when I had my 9-to-5 job, I would bring my lunch to work 99% of the time because I didn't value spending money on eating out. That's not something that was important to me. I would rather spend less money and just bring my lunch to work, make my lunch the night before, and bring it to work with me. And another thing that I'm spending my money on right now is updating my backyard. I love being in my backyard. It is so quiet out there. At my old place, I was really close to a busy road, so I could hear cars passing all of the time. But at my new place, I love just being outside, and it's so quiet. It is so nice. So I am extending out my patio, and I got a gazebo that I'll be putting in once I get concrete out there. And that's something that I want to be spending my money on. I know that is going to bring me joy because I love being outside in my backyard. The more that we can spend our money on things that are important to us, the happier we are going to be, because we're not going to be regretting spending all of that money on things that are not that important to us. And then the third lesson that I have learned as I have become a millionaire is to find joy along the way. I am a pretty happy person most of the time, and I feel like that makes a big difference in my life and in those that I surround myself with. Just by finding joy in the little things makes a big difference. If I am so focused on what's not going right or what could happen that could be bad, then I'm not going to really see new opportunities or take advantage of those opportunities. And I'm just going to be focused on the negative and bringing people down. So I have found for me that being more positive and just finding joy along the way when we are working on our long-term goals or even our short-term goals, it makes a big difference. I'm just a happier person, and I'm able to see positive things even when I'm going through a hard time or a bad situation. I can always think, oh, it could be a lot worse, or I can just point out something that is positive from that experience. even though the overall experience seems negative. Just as a quick example, when I was looking to purchase my fourth property, I could have easily gotten discouraged and given up because the market was crazy. A lot of people were looking for homes. A lot of people were putting offers in. Prices were going up, and the market continued to get even crazier and crazier. But still, when I bought in 2018, things were crazy. And I could have just given up and thought, you know what, maybe it's not the right time. Or just been really discouraged or thinking negative thoughts that, oh, I'm never going to get a property. And that's not really helpful. So I just continued to think, okay, yeah, I'm sad about that. Like, I didn't get that property and it would have been great. And, I feel into that sadness. It's not that I'm just dismissing it, but I'm not staying there for the long term, right? I'm thinking, okay, yes, that was sad. I can be sad for a little bit, but I don't need to stay sad or stay discouraged. I give myself enough time and then I think, all right, it's time to look for the next property. I'm going to find something even better. And honestly, I feel like I did. And then lesson number 4 that I want to share with you is to get started. Whatever it is that you want to achieve or accomplish or become, get started now. Don't put it off. The longer you put it off, then the further away it's going to become. Honestly, when I bought my first place that I was living in and I had roommates, I waited 10 years to buy my second place. And I wish I wouldn't have done that. I know I can't go back and change that. But looking back, I wish I would have gotten started earlier with real estate investing and bought my second property earlier than 10 years later. So if we can just get started, that is usually the hardest part, is getting started. And the thing is, we don't have to be perfect when we start. I have made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I continue to learn from those mistakes and I can learn from others' mistakes and I continue to press forward. But if I never got started investing in the stock market or in real estate, there is no way I would be where I am today. I would not be financially free. I would not be a millionaire. And even with other things in my life, I wanted to be an author. And so I got started on writing my book and it was hard, but I was able to publish my first book. And then I even published a second book. And if you are interested in that, it is for sale on Amazon. You will be financially free. It's my second book. So it's in print or an ebook. But nonetheless, I got started on writing a book. That's something that I wanted to do. And it took me a lot longer to write my second book than I thought it would. But nonetheless, I pushed through and was able to finally get that book published. Think about something that you want to achieve and get started today. Even if it's just making a list of a few things that you can do this week. It doesn't have to be something overwhelming. We can just start small and continue to build up over time. And once we are started, if we never give up, then we are never going to fail. If we continue to press forward, we will be able to achieve whatever it is that we want to. And then lesson number 5 is that you never need to apologize for what you want, what you truly desire. I feel like especially as women, we try to please people. We are a people pleaser and we put others' needs ahead of our own a lot of times. But there is no reason for us to apologize for what we want to accomplish, or who we want to become. I feel like when I was getting started in real estate, there were a lot of people that were supporting me, but there were also a few that were thinking, oh, are you sure you want to do that? And it is something that I wanted to do. And so I pressed forward and I wasn't apologetic about it. And I even remember one of my friends telling me that he thought I was crazy for buying another property. And years later, after seeing what's happened, he brought this up with me and now he's the one that thinks he's crazy. So just go after what you want and no need to apologize for it and no need to put others before you. And I'm not saying that we should be selfish and self-centered, but we need to take care of the things that we really desire and our needs, and we can do that without being selfish or without walking all over other people. And I remember an old coworker of mine, I was telling him about my new business and he flat out said, well, is there even a need for that? And that kind of fueled me and I thought, there is a need for that. People need to be better with their money. But I didn't apologize and say, oh, you know what, maybe there's not a need for that. maybe I'm not going to do that. I knew what I wanted to do and I followed my heart and I did my business. I am doing my business. So be courageous, go after whatever it is you want to go after. And if you are thinking, oh, I do want to invest in the stock market, I have a free masterclass. I will leave a link below in the description. You can click on that, check out the free masterclass on how I can help you invest in the stock market. All right, those are 5 lessons from a female millionaire. Comment below and tell me one lesson that you have learned along your journey. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information, and hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more great content from me, make sure and check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.